Happening Fight Week Show fans, Fight Week Show people, then we are back with another video, and this time we have my brother Harry Houdini Hardwick. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing fantastic. Yeah, just in the swing of training camp. Legs are a little bit tired. Body's a little bit tired. Mind is good. Ready for training tonight.
That sounds like the life of a martial artist, if you ask me. Um, I mean, you guys sacrifice so much, in the game. You sacrifice so much for your profession, and as a fight fan, I just want to say thank you for everything that you guys put yourself through and put forward, just for our entertainment. So yeah, we appreciate that a lot as a fight fan.
I thank you very much, but like I wouldn't view a whole lot of it as a sacrifice. It's what I like doing. When I'm doing stuff that's not fighting, that can be quite frustrating. Like there's a lot of the things that people typically like to do, like nightclubs.
Mm.
Shit. I every time I'm in one, it's just a frustrating experience. I hate being there. Like drinking, it doesn't really. There's nothing it actually improves. Really, it's like funny every now and then, but like literally, I'll maybe get tipsy twice a year at best. Um, yeah, I'm not really sacrificing a lot. Training and teaching is what I really love doing.
Mm.
The thing I'd sacrifice most is maybe time with my girlfriend, but fucking she lives 3.5 hours away anyway, so I guess there's a lot of sacrificing time because of that. So yeah, fighting's what I love doing. Like
Fair,
it's
fair,
not
fair
none of
play.
it's a sacrifice.
Fair play to you, man. Fair play to you. Fair play to you. Let's just peel it back a little bit. You have a fight coming up with Esteban, but we'll come to that in a little while. What I wanted to ask you is, preparing for this fight and this fight coming up, what has been the challenges, and maybe difficulties, or even things that have gone well. Not so much challenges, but even things that have gone well. That's really happened in this camp preparing for Esteban.
Um, yeah, I was going to say I can't really say anything's not gone well preparation wise. Got a lump on one of my shins. Had a front kick George in the elbow at one point, but other than that, I'm doing good. Like everything's fine, everything's good. I'm just because obviously I had the fight in March that fell through because of the injury, and it's like
Yeah.
I just want to be back in there. I haven't fought since November. It's been way too long. I want to be in the cage. I want to be in the fight. I want to have that filter removed from my actions because like when you're sparring someone, there's always that filter that
Mm,
you're looking after them. There's always that filter. When you're training, there's always that filter that you're looking after them, or you've got another session the next day that you've got to think about, or you know you don't want to hurt yourself. Whereas when you're fighting, you're completely free. That filter goes, and then just stuff happens.
mm,
And that's really exciting. That's really interesting. It's unpredictable, but that's good, and that's
mm,
something I really like about fighting. And then there's the fact that he'll be swinging to take my head off. You know what I mean? Like he'll, there's that bit of like added consequence
mm.
to everything that both of you do. Yeah, I can't wait for that. I can't wait for just as like little fight feeling things, like
Mm.
the feeling of the cage. Sometimes, like the when you sort of you don't have a shirt on and you stood there and you can kind of feel the breeze a little bit.
Yeah.
Odd little exchange where I don't know if you hit someone and there's blood and you get that smell,
Yeah.
or you can hear their breathing in a clinch and and you can like feel the breathing and you know that they're getting tired. It's like all that stuff is stuff I've missed and stuff I'm looking forward to feeling again.
I mean, you've just gone real in depth there, and what I wanted to ask you is obviously your division stacked with killers, a lot of a lot of tough fighters up in that division there. But can I ask you, how do you maintain the balance of picking the right fights versus fighting anyone they put in front of you? Because you strike me as the sort of person that you just take wherever they give you. If you're fit, you're fighting them. But how do you balance picking the right fights versus fighting, having the feeling to want to just wherever they give me, put them in front of me, I'll knock them down.
I mean, generally I am just I'll fight whoever.
Mm,
But it has been a little bit of, because the Cage Warriors featherweight division has been, not because it's stacked, like it's I fight whoever, but it's been awkward. There's been weird spots where, like, there's no one's been available, or everyone's been available, or this or
mm,
that. Like, my Cage Warriors debut was against Jin and Doi,
yep.
but that I was offered the choice in Doi or Harilla, and I was like, well, I would rather Harilla. I would rather fight 5 rounds down the line.
Yep.
So, and Doi, and also, like, and Doi's older. There's not going to be an opportunity to fight and Doi again.
Mm,
Where, like, he was around when I was coming up, so I was like, fair enough, we'll pick that.
mm-hmm.
Harilla will always be around, and he still is.
Yeah.
Um, there was just whoever fight. Then Pasquale, I was kind of just in a weird situation where no opponents made sense. So I was just like, I'll just fight one of those undefeated Italian cunts who fought in Manchester. And
Mm-hmm.
after I said that, Ian Dean messaged me with Pasquale's name. So I was like, okay, that I've clearly chose that one way or another.
Right.
Um, and then I asked for Aimable, because I was just like, that's the fight that's going to make the most sense.
Mm,
And then his last two fight, well, like, obviously, Shaub Yusuf was kind of just I need to fight, get me a fight, whoever it is, and if it makes sense, it makes sense. And then same for this card, I was just like, get me on this card, I want to fight. And then there was Harilla for the interim belt that was floating around, but then
mm-hmm.
Harilla injured his thumb, which was bitterly disappointing. Like, I really, really wanted that fight. Like, I want that fight to be 5 rounds. Everyone wants that fight to be 5 rounds. Like, me versus Harilla is pointless as a 3-round fight. Even though it might not even go 5 rounds, but guys might not even go one of those rounds. But yeah, so I was just like, Ian, get me a fight. The thing I need is competition.
Mm,
So he's worked his magic. We've got some 6-0 Brazilian. Um, he's very, very, very Brazilian Muay Thai style. He's like
mm.
Jose Aldo, but shit. And without the body shots and the explosiveness.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've just, in my head, I've been like, there's nothing this guy does is actually scary at all.
Yeah.
So in my head, I've been preparing for Jose Aldo.
Gotcha. Gotcha. You know what? You've just made give us a perfect segue into your background and your background in Thai boxing. Can you tell us more about that? How you really came about, or your love for Thai boxing, and how you really got into Muay Thai.
Yeah, so I did like one session of shiny pants kickboxing with my friend from school, but then
Right.
George also started Thai boxing at the same time, and it was like the UFC Undisputed 2009 demo had 2 fighters on it. It had Shogun Hua and Chuck Liddell.
Mm,
And the way that they would talk about Muay Thai and Shogun Hua was like, oh, it's so mysterious and so great. And then George found a Muay Thai gym. So we were like, yeah, we'll go there. And we were always more interested in MMA.
mm,
But when we went there, there was a Thai from Thailand with like 300 fights called Kin Prayun Pawang, who was our our coach, and it was just amazing. It was like 1 year with him was like 3 or 4 years with someone else. Like, we progressed quick because we were just like, yeah, we're listening to him, we're doing what he does. But then he moved back to Thailand, and Stephen Long took over coaching, one of our coaches. But then Stephen Long and the guy who won the Thai boxing gym fell out, and then Stephen Long started teaching Muay Thai at an MMA gym at Middlesbrough Fight Academy. So we followed him there, and that's where we've been ever since. We've been at Middlesbrough Fight Academy. That was the first MMA gym we stepped into. That was the first gym we ever grappled in, and that is where we are still fighting out now.
That's incredible, man. That's incredible stuff. And like you said, in your mind, you're already preparing for an Aldo level person and an Aldo level fighter. But when your preparation actually meets your opponents, it becomes quick work for you because your preparation is right up there. So you know you can actually if you actually look at it, that's a master preparation right there for your next opponent.
Well, yeah, and it's like there are similar tools that
Mm.
worked well against Aldo that would work well against this guy. But obviously, the consequences for fucking them up against Aldo are much, much, much scarier. Whereas what fucking Vitor Soldado Estevam or whatever the fuck he's called,
Esteban.
like, like he's got some like slow check hook. He throws an overhand. He shells up with his hands. Like to be fair, he doesn't move his head as well as Aldo, and everything's much slower. He's got
Yeah.
like a low kick. He tends to bum in on a double leg. If that fails, he'll get his head under someone's chin and
Mm.
drive them into the fence and make the fight slow and lame. He looks like he's in decent shape, like not cardio wise, but like he seems decently strong from what I've seen. Like he seems more into bodybuilding and fitness stuff, like weightlifting, than he is into fighting. But yeah, he's getting his head bashed in. Like there's you know my straight punches are gonna eat him up when he starts getting tired, when his stance starts to break against the fence, when he
Mm.
starts to take deep gulps of air. The other shots are going to fire around. He's like constantly digging my toes into his stomach, smashing my knees into his chest, hitting him with straight shots. The volume was going to just dial up. It's going to start at a pace that he's uncomfortable with, but then it's just
Yeah.
going to dial up and up
Mm.
and up. And he's just going to get more and more and more uncomfortable. His takedowns aren't going to work. I'm probably not going to wrestle him. He throws a very lazy right kick. I'll probably end up
Mm.
catching it just off instinct and dumping him on his back from that. But other than that, I'm just going to put this big pace on him and I'm just going to smash his head in. Um, I'm
Well,
going to, yeah, round two, I'd say. Round two.
round two, incredible. Because that was going to be my next question. Because when we look back at your say last 3 4 fights, which is come by decision, would a finish
Yeah.
be more appetizing now that we've
Yeah.
a finish will be very much appetizing for you to go out there and just get that finish whichever way, whether it's a submission tapper or
No,
even
it's a
even
knockout.
knocking them out.
No,
You're
no,
looking
no.
for a knockout this time.
Yeah, I'm stopping. I'm stopping him. Um, I do know that like knockout sell, and on my record, I've only got one. I've had a few fights where I've like basically knocked the guy out and then
Mm.
just put a submission on them. Like
Right.
the start of my current unbeaten streak was a first round submission win in
Mm.
Croatia. I dropped that guy twice and was like well on the way to finishing him. But remember watching in the back that like the refs were really letting the fights go, especially with like the hometown guy. If the hometown guy got hurt, the
Oh.
refs were really letting it slide, hoping that
Mm.
in favor of the hometown guy.
Right.
So me and George actually talked about it in the back, like, yeah, if you get him in a bad spot, just if you can put him in a submission, put him in a submission. And I just got
Get him out
like
of
I
there.
was grounding. Yeah, I was hitting him with his left hands, and then I just slid the rear naked in, and like I got a very quick tap off it because the guy was done by that point. But
Yeah, you don't want to be there no more.
but yeah, I need more knockouts. So I'm not submitting this guy. I could. His jiu-jitsu shit, but I'm not.
Mm.
Um, I'm gonna like any grappling is ground and pound oriented.
Yeah. We
Any
we def-
striking is just pezzling him until he collapses.
Fantastic. We're definitely looking forward to that. That just seems the prospect of all of that seems mouth watering to fight fan like myself. And it's a good thing you mentioned your brother George there. Just a quick question on George. He's going on the Contender series, and then a White Contender series. What do you expect from him, and how much help in preparing for for that series there will will you be getting from yourself after you're done fighting?
So yeah, he's looking good for this. George always takes this stuff incredibly seriously. Like he he is he's an absolute workhorse.
Mm.
Like me and him are very different in a few regards. Like I'm not saying I'm lazy or anything,
No, no,
but
no.
like George just trugs along, and can do the same thing a lot over and over and over again. Whereas
Right.
I'm very, I sort of like it shines through in our fighting styles a bit. I'll like skip through different things and I'll do like different versions of the same thing all here and
Mm.
there and everywhere. Then I'll do
Right.
impressions of people and then this and then that. Um, and that's one of the things that like when I'm sparring someone for a fight, I'll try and do an impression of their opponent. So like when Leon Arms fought recently, I did a really good impression of his opponent. He was actually saying after the
Yeah.
fight how weird it was. So obviously after this fight, I'm going to smash this Brazilian and then I'm going to go straight back into fight camp for George. And I've got to pretend to be 5'7" Palestinian and a wrestler. um, but yeah, his preparation is going really good. Um, Obviously, we play like a very big coaching role
Yeah.
in one another's preparation. Obviously, I'm a little bit more focused on myself. Well, obviously, a little bit
Yeah.
more focused on myself at the minute.
100%. Yeah.
I'm not completely not focused on George.
Mm.
I trust him to be able to do what he's doing, but I'm not supervising his rounds and watching
Hmm.
everything he does at the minute.
Yeah.
That'll come once I've fought.
Yeah.
Um, but everything's going good. We got some tasty stuff in the pipeline for that,
Oh,
and then
fantastic, fantastic.
I'm going to try and use that platform to get me on the Contender Series because it runs through till like October, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm just going to smash Vitor, make a big noise, and then try and get both Hardwick brothers in the UFC before the end of the year.
Yeah, man, that sounds so good. And a big win against Vitor, against this opponent you got, would definitely make a ripple like that, fighting for a banner under the promotion of Cage Warriors. So this is
Yeah,
please,
yeah, and I
please.
think, sorry, and I think like because I've got a few decisions on my record, like the UFC people when they look, they're just looking at the decisions, like they're not actually watching the fights.
Yeah.
But like I've had numerous people say I'm one of the most entertaining fighters in Cage Warriors. Like I know
Mm,
I am,
mm,
but the UFC people are going to be there because it's the net. You know, whenever there's the UFC the day after the Cage Warriors event, you get like UFC matchmakers and UFC folk at these Cage Warriors shows,
yep.
so they'll be able to see live what I'm about. And I
Hmm.
think once they've seen that, they'll be interested.
Yeah. And that's the whole point, because look, everybody wants to be measured against the best in the world. You expect, in this profession you're in, you want to be respected by your peers and the people that you compete with, and you can only really get that by competing with the best of the best of the best in the world. And you find them in UFC. There's a bunch of them down there, uh ready to compete. So that's I'm sure that's the ambition for the Hardwick brothers. And yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll see both of you in the UFC before the year runs out. um Couple more questions that I wanted to ask you before before we get you out of here. um you said something online, and I saw it. Maybe a lot of our audience haven't seen it, but it's a very, very, I would say, fight IQ thing. What you actually refer to, and that's fighting angry or fighting mad in the octagon or in the cage. Can you explain to our audience, what the whole not fighting mad in the octagon, what you meant by that, and please educate them, educate our audience.
I'm not sure what what quote you like.
Right.
I
So,
have.
I've
Sorry.
yeah, I was gonna say to. I think somebody asked you, do you have you ever fought mad in the
Yeah,
cage? And
100%.
yeah, I think you gave one example of where you fought mad, but reasons why you shouldn't fight mad.
Yeah, well, I thought Nathan Rose angry because I think
Yes.
he's, I think he's a cunt. Plain and simple. I'm quite glad I bashed him. I'm quite glad I'm part of his current losing streak. Uh, it's great that he can't really pretend to be a hard man now because he's been beat loads. Um, yeah, that fight kind of worked with fighting angry. Obviously, it did. Maybe not early.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. I was nervous first, and then once my head got split open, I was angry, and then I started
Right.
fighting quite angry. And but by then he was already tired. It was only the first round, fucking gas bag. Um, but by then he was quite tired, and then the anger kind of made me not realize how tired I was by the end of the fight. But you definitely there were definitely issues with that. So when I fought in Croatia, I wasn't angry per se, but I felt invincible. I felt untouchable. I was very in the guy's face. I was intimidating. I felt bigger than myself, and I felt like I just could walk through him and smash him. And that is exactly what happened.
Mm.
Then I thought, oh, I can carry this with the next fight. So when I fought Doi, I had the same kind of attitude, the same energy. And obviously, with Croatia fight guy, it was a grappler who didn't particularly fight well when he was going backwards. So that
Right.
aggression,
Mm.
that shoving him backwards, that whacking him early worked really well. With John Doi, a crafty counter striker, what it did was it got me dropped. And then I kept the aggression going afterwards and kept that. I'm just going to walk through him and smash what he does. But obviously, he's a very seasoned counter fighter and was like retaliating a lot. So we were hitting these like six phase combos. Like I'd go, he'd go, I'd go, he'd go, I'd go, he'd go, and then there'd be some disengagement. You know, like it wasn't just like a lot of fights. There's a rhythm where people just take turns, where it's like I go, then he goes, then I go, and then sometimes you get a guy who's good at going first and third, and then that guy's normally the winner. With me and Ndoi, it was like first, third, fourth, sixth. You know, there's just so many phases to the combinations.
Mm.
And I would say going into the third round of that fight is the most tired I have ever been in my entire existence. Um, so I think there's an appropriate mindset for different fights and for different approaches for different opponents and different this and different that. But I do feel like I did have it spot on for the aimable fight. Like I
Yeah.
still had the aggression there.
Mm.
I wasn't reckless or stupid, and I could have done that for 10 rounds. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was no overloading myself. There was no compromising my technique. I think I've just got to that point now where shit just fits together perfectly in my head.
That's incredible. That's incredible. The last thing I wanted to ask before we get you out of here, our good friend Tommy said, "When are you buying him a Palmo, mate?"
Just I'm going to try and sort it because there's a Manjaro's. There is one in London. Manjaro's is a Teesside based restaurant,
Right,
like, but they're expanding. They're taking Palmos on a national level
right,
because they've got ones like Manchester, Birmingham, London. Um, so now, like Manjaro's sponsor me and George now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to try get through with them, try and get Palmos delivered to the O2, to the back door of the O2, multiple Palmos for the second I'm out of that cage.
all right.
For the second I'm out, so just get a load of Manjaro's Palmos delivered. And then I'm just gonna that's my plan. And then I
Okay,
can spread the love.
no
If
worries,
people
man.
if people are backstage, a lot of the media people, if Tommy can get there, Tommy can get some damn Palmo.
Okay, okay. Oh, we'll see. We'll see. Even if I can make it there because it's on 27th,
But
right?
21st.
21st, yeah, 21st of this month. So that's in a couple of weeks, and yeah, it's something that I'll speak to Tommy about and see if we can make it there to come and support you and support your fight. So
Yeah, it's sick.
definitely
Thank you
looking
very
forward
much,
to it.
man.
Yeah, man, no worries at all. And yeah, we've come to the end of the video, people. Salute to Harry for coming over here and giving us that time. You've been very, very generous with your time, and you were very patient with the technical difficulties that we had.
That was more on my end, I think.
But yeah, thank you all for that. We really, really appreciate it, and hopefully, after the fight, we can get you back on the channel as well, and we can talk more MMA and more stuff about yourself, your brother, and mixed martial arts in general, if you don't mind.
Yeah. When I'm after the fight, when I'm about 100 palmos deep in a heavyweight, no problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Brad Wharton from Cage Warriors. You're watching the Fight Week Show. Like, share, and subscribe for all that good stuff. You do not want to miss it.